Welcome, everyone, to episode 7 of the Golden Squeeze podcast. We are 3 sleeps away from night 1 of WrestleMania 40, and it is going to be a banger. We think that we have the full match card, although you never know what's going to happen on SmackDown. But we'll get into that a little bit later. So let's start off talking about Monday Night Raw. And
Let's do it.
It led off with The Rock and a very grandiose entrance that lasted about the whole 3 hours. So this podcast will be quick. It was just The Rock's entrance, and he came out. And I think that the first word was not spoken until about 20 minutes into the show. But it was good. It was good. It's always good to see The Rock on television. And the crowd.
And his vest.
Yeah, the crowd loved it. They loved his vest. They all wish they were wearing that vest. And I know Mama Rhodes probably loved the vest too. But I felt like they were cheering him really hard in the beginning, and kind of like it always happens, then slowly but surely they remembered, oh, this guy just beat up Mama Rhodes' baby boy, and as a result of which they had to start booing. But what did you think of the opening segment?
It was, it was good, and obviously, Rock comes out, and then Roman and company come out, and then Seth in the crowd, and what better way to generate some good heel heat than tease Rollins versus The Rock or Rollins versus Reigns, and you get left with Rollins versus Solo. Oh, the crowd lost it, and I couldn't help but laugh because it was so great, because they knew how to just piss everybody off at the Barclays Center, and I thought it was genius.
Yeah. Did you see the fan that was recording Seth? And he was like inches away from his face while Seth was up there. I thought that was hilarious. But I don't even know why you boo at that. If you were a fan and you actually thought there was the chance of Seth versus Rock or Seth versus Roman on Monday Night Raw, well, then you're an idiot and you don't deserve to be able to watch wrestling, because that is just never going to happen. They used to do that all the time with Brock Lesnar. They would tease Brock having a match on either SmackDown or Raw, and it's like, that's just never going to happen. I don't care that he's there. He's not going to wrestle. Not Seth, not before WrestleMania. Makes no sense. But yeah, Rock, and always good to see Roman on Raw. You don't get Roman on Raw very often, so it was nice to see that. It was nice to. I got a chuckle out of the fact that anyone cares about Solo, because no one does. It's pointless even being there.
Yeah,
it ruined his mystique. All the momentum he had from NXT is gone. Just gone.
That's another conversation for another time. But I agree, and they had a chance to completely keep it tip top peak, whatever you want to call it, when he essentially squashed Cena. I mean, How many guys besides that are not named Brock Lesnar or The Undertaker, if you want to call that Mania farce a match? We could do an hour on my thoughts on that and how they missed a good opportunity for a good Mania match between those two. But anyways, just I don't see how, and granted, I know there's a different person calling the final shot still at that point, but I don't see how you book a guy to squash Cena and not build something out of that.
Yeah, they must have had no plan, because what they said was, Solo, you're going to beat Cena, and then you're never going to win again, because he has not won since then. That was his last win on television, on house shows.
Yeah,
he
I mean,
has
he hasn't fought. I mean, he hasn't fought much on TV since then, has he?
right, no, but he's
But
had a
still, you
lot of
can't.
house shows,
Yeah,
and
you can't. Yeah, I agree. You can't have a guy who squashed Cena losing on house shows every night. I agree. But anyways, again, I think yeah, me and you have very strong opinions on that whole thing, and but um, we can discuss that later, and I think we should
yeah,
because I think it's hurt to a degree. It has hurt some of. I mean, granted, I think you know the bloodline as we know it is maybe coming to an end. The whole that this side of the storyline, and we'll see what happens on the other side of Roman potentially losing the belts on Sunday, or the belt, I guess, on Sunday. But who knows? Maybe there's a chance to still build it back up and kind of get back into that potential Roman verse Solo that they've teased on multiple occasions with the tribal chief necklace and stuff like that, and that whole thing, which is a great segment of television. And they kind of went away from that, but I definitely think that's something they could revisit and build him back up. But
no. First of all, Roman's retiring. Roman said if he loses, he's never going to wrestle again. So he's done. His
okay,
career's over.
yeah, all right,
That
yeah,
is, if you trust Roman.
said
Speaking of
every
which,
wrestler ever.
did you hear Roman say that he had to leave so he could go write Paul Heyman's Hall of Fame induction speech?
Yeah, yeah. Because
So
I messaged you saying, "Hey, they had a segment saying who did it. I didn't want to spoil it for you because I know you made the TikTok, but
yeah,
I did get a
I
good
was wrong.
chuckle because that was it's like, hey, you got a bold prediction wrong."
The only one I'll ever get wrong. So it's not going to be CM Punk. It's going to be Roman Reigns, which kayfabe's dead. So it is what it is. I wonder if he tries to give the speech in character as Roman Reigns or as Joe Anoa'i. I guess we'll see. I feel like it's going to be difficult I think he's going to do a little bit of both. He'll probably come out and he'll probably say WWE Hall of Fame, acknowledge me. And he's probably going to say that, and then he'll
As
go
he
into the
should.
speech. Yeah.
As he
I
should.
would love to see if Stone Cold puts up the one at the Hall of Fame induction ceremony. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, good for Roman. Good for Paul E. Dangerously. But then from there, the opening segment went into Judgment Day versus the New Day and Regeneration X, also known as DIY. Um, it, it was a very quick match. Well, it was quicker than I thought that it should be for these 8 people. But what did you think of the match?
I mean, I it was fine. Nothing like I thought, oh, that was horrible or anything like that. But I don't like when they just a week from when they're going to have an actual match, like for the titles, when they basically, okay, I understand it wasn't involving ladders. It wasn't a ladder match, but still, you have a match um, involving some of the teams. You're going to see some of these interactions coming up, and I don't like when they do that.
Yeah, but
I
that's
know,
that's been going on since
I
we were
know,
kids. So that's never going to stop.
I
And it
know. I
also is a
just don't.
glimpse as to who's going to win. So I think that now we know the Judgment Day are going to lose their titles because normally whoever wins on the last episode before a big pay per view, normally that person the other teams end up winning at at the pay-per-view.
Oh yeah, and
Yeah,
there's a lot going on with the Judgment Day, and I, I'm there's so much going on and so many what ifs. I'm excited to see what happens with that whole storyline and if it's going to completely implode or if it's just going to come to a boiling point and not not explode until later on. But I think, but yeah, this um the whole thing with LDF coming in and a lot of the Judgment Day being irritated with that, and then Andrade now coming in and then being irritated about that. It's definitely going to. They're teasing a lot of stuff with it, and I'm excited to see it because they've booked them pretty as being a pretty cohesive unit. They got through all the initial stuff with Finn and Damien and made it through that, and teasing of Rhea being frustrated with Dom with that whole thing when he was NXT North American champion, and they seemed everything was going seemingly smooth, and now it's finally about to boil over, and I'm interested to see what happens. And then Damien teasing how important it is for everybody individually coming up, and so you got that too. And yeah, I'm excited about it. I'm excited.
I'm gonna nitpick.
Okay.
Is this where there was a backstage segment where they were talking? It was just right before, right after this match.
Yeah, there were a couple of backstage segments. I think the first one was with LDF.
LDF and okay. Well, I'm going to jump to the one where they were irritated with Dom
And Andrade.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, where they tell Andrade what he's got to do to get into Judgment Day.
Yeah.
And then Dominic introduces Andrade to Santos Escobar. Why in the hell would they not know each other? I don't. Why would they not know? I feel like Dom went off script with that because Andrade was like, "Yes, I remember you." Like, of course you remember him. First of all, you work together, so there's no need to introduce each other. You fought like 100 times on NXT. Like they had a feud, I think, before he left for AEW. Like, what are we doing here? Why are you introducing these people? Like, why are they not supposed to know each other?
Oh wait, in all seriousness, they fought on NXT.
I'm pretty sure they did.
Okay, because I wasn't sure if Escobar was there during his run on NXT.
I thought that he was, and I think that's why he said, "Yes, I remember you," when he was trying to introduce them. But regardless of that fact, they still work together.
Oh yeah, yes. I was just trying to refresh my because I remember some of Andrade's feuds, but I don't remember them all.
It's
from NXT.
It's suspending disbelief that anybody in the company would need to be introduced to somebody else in the company. It just I don't believe it.
Well, okay. Well, when it comes to suspending disbelief, we'll be more of that when we get to the Don and Ilya on our NXT breakdown later.
Yeah. And then it went into Bronson Reed versus Sami Zayn.
Again.
Yeah. Yeah, again. And Bronson Reed was really just he was just there for the purpose of Sammy to have a match so that Gunther could come down and holding the limp carcass of a Chad Gable. And again, going back to Judgment Day winning, which means that they're going to lose their title. I believe that what Gunther did to Sammy and Chad Gable is going to lead to Gunther losing his title. So his title's gone one way or another, whether it's by what I've predicted or whether it's by some other mechanism. Obviously, Chad Gable is going to play a role in him losing his title. I could see a situation where because Chad Gable doesn't care about Sami Zayn. He cares about Gunther losing his title. So it could very easily be a situation where the two of them uh, attack Gunther, and whatever other members of Imperium want to come out, they attack Gunther to attack them. He gets his title, and then Damian Priest comes out, wins, and Chad Gable does nothing to assist Sami Zayn when Damian Priest wins the title. Something like that, which would then start a mid-card feud between Chad Gable and Sami Zayn instantly, puts the title on Damian Priest, and then they go from there. I don't know. That's what I'll get more into my full prediction later on, but I think that could be something there. But obviously, Chad Gable is going to play a role in WrestleMania.
I hated this whole thing.
It was terrible.
Every bit of it. I hated it. Okay. I love the presentation of Gunther. He is a heel who doesn't need to use heel tactics during this title reign. And I can't remember if we talked about this before or not, but I can't think of a Gunther match where he had like Imperium interfere in any of his PLE title defenses. He's just won by being better.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the way they have made him, his presentation. So why in the hell is he having to play mind games with a guy who's won a few matches over the past couple of months? It makes absolutely no sense to me. And I hate it, but I agree with you. I think Damian Priest is going to cash in.
Yeah.
And but just I don't think this was necessary. Again, just him beating up Chad Gable. I mean, hey, and again, I think they could have had an effective segment where, hey, stay out of this, stay out of our business, and him whooping up on Chad Gable backstage, but the whole dragging him out there to distract Sami Zayn, it's like, why are you doing that? Like, that is not the way that your character has been billed, and now all of a sudden, almost 2 years into this title reign, they're going to do that. I do not like that. Oh, and listen, I know Sami Zayn loves professional wrestling. That's very apparent. Oh gosh, but that training segment was so lame and so over dramatic. Because I'm scared about letting everybody down and letting myself down and all that. It was too much for me, man. It was too much. And again, just some of that. It's the fans like you. You're a great wrestler who always has entertaining matches, and that's why people love you, not because of the overacting.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. And at the end of the day, I know it's going to be a great match. Anybody who's a wrestling fan knows that Gunther versus Sami Zayn is going to be a great match. It's just, I just wonder what type of shenanigans are going to prevent it potentially from being to prevent it from being a show stealer.
There's going to be a lot of shenanigans.
a night of run-ins.
Now, have I missed something though with Chad Gable and Sami Zayn? Why does Sami care that he got beat up? Like what?
I think because he finally he accepted Chad Gable's explanation for why he said what he said, and he accepted Chad Gable's help, and I guess he feels like Chad Gable is genuinely trying to help him, and that it's in turn helping him get in the right mind state to beat him. And I know it's all rushed together, which again,
okay,
And again, I guess I keep forgetting that if if what if what the articles and the internet say are true, the original plan was Gunther Brock
Yeah.
at Mania.
Oh, it's definitely with all the Rumble interactions that they had. Yeah.
So, and wait, Rumble interactions? You mean
Yeah,
last
last
year?
year. Yeah, when they
Okay,
set it up
okay, okay,
last year. Yeah.
okay.
That it was going to happen eventually.
Yeah,
Since it didn't happen at last WrestleMania, I assumed it would happen at this WrestleMania.
yeah. And if that's the case, I mean, they had to kind of do this on the fly. Like, okay, well, we had
On the fly, it's been. I mean, okay, but
no. Well, okay, well, let me.
they had 3
I,
months to do something better.
agreed, but still, I think some of that was okay. Yeah, we're taking him off the air, but let's see where this goes and if we'll be able to somehow squeeze him back in. I think they were trying. I think they were holding out a little bit on a true story and waiting so long to decide who was going to potentially dethrone a guy who's held the title for almost 2 years, because they were hoping that more believable opponent in Brock was going to be cleared of these allegations or something. I truly think, especially with them putting him back on the active roster now on WWE's website, there's photos circulating all over of people driving down and seeing the WrestleMania trucks with Brock's face plastered all over them. I mean, so something has happened, or they've learned something that made them feel comfortable enough amidst all of these horrible allegations against Vince McMahon to start doing this again. So I really think that part of this, what seems to be a thrown together build to this feud, which should feel more important, is because they were holding out hope that Brock was going to be able to come in and wrestle this match.
Could you imagine Brock having an Intercontinental title?
Has he ever had it?
I can't imagine they would have ever put the Intercontinental title on him. I don't want to say it's beneath him, but I mean, he's a main eventer.
I agree, but at this point, I think Gunther is too.
Yeah, but that title's not.
Yeah, but the way that he has been presented makes it feel more
I
important.
do think he's a main eventer, but I just don't think that title's a main event title, which means that you can't put it on Brock.
Right.
Which means he shouldn't have it anymore. It's time to elevate him.
Yeah, and I I agree, but if I just don't know how they're going to handle future title reigns once Reigns drops the belt.
Shorter ones.
I mean, but
Well, I guess
it worked.
you have that problem of but you can't have 4-year title runs. You can't have that consistently, because then a 4-year title run loses its aura, number one, and number two, we need more title defenses than we need our champion more active.
No, I agree, and but I think I do think though that, and I'm probably wrong as always, but I don't think the way they've booked Gunther, who has I don't know if 3 people is considered a stable, but a group, whatever.
We have a stable of fans, I guess. Then,
yeah, yes. No, we have one more subscriber than Imperium has members. Thank you.
There you go.
And but I think that was by design. Like you have these guys who you could order to interfere in all your matches and do your bidding if you wanted to, but instead they, and correctly, in my opinion, regardless of the motivation, had him win clean. And think I I think they did that on a consistent basis because the plan was to have a guy who's defended this title without a bunch of help go up against a guy who doesn't need interference in his matches and has never been booked that way in Brock.
Yeah. Okay.
But when they came to the realization, okay, we're not going to be able to throw Brock in here without pissing off people and potentially losing sponsors and all that. They had to go to this feud, and at the end of the day, I know it's going to be a good match, but I just hate that his reign is going to end like this and in this manner. I don't like the whole, like I said, the having to play these mind games with Sami Zayn. It doesn't make sense because they haven't booked any of these guys to seem like legitimate threats or booked him even remotely in a way where it would seem like as Gunther, like, oh, I got to watch out for this guy. And I don't know. This just sucks, man. I don't want Gunther to lose the title.
He's losing it.
I know.
One way or another, he's losing it. And
But-
Damian Priest is going to run with it, but he's losing it.
I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think they were holding out hope that they could get Brock in there without losing sponsors and pissing off people?
Well, here's the thing. The people who are going to be watching WrestleMania, they're not going to be pissed off by Brock being there. Wrestling fans are a loyal bunch. I don't think that they'd be pissed off. I guess WrestleMania does attract the casual fan, but I feel like the casual fan doesn't know that Brock did anything. I think that the casual fan knows that Vince McMahon did things, but I don't think the casual fan knows that Brock Lesnar had any involvement. And what do we, as wrestling fans, think that Brock Lesnar's involvement was in all of that? That he received some text messages that were extremely crude and inappropriate in nature to send to an employee of yours, and that Brock reacted in a way that might not have been appropriate, but we haven't heard anything that says that he acted on anything. It was more of just a crude reaction. So should his entire career be ruined because of that? I don't know the answer to that because I don't know any of the details.
Well, something had to have changed within the last week.
I agree. Maybe because also we're all internet detectives. At no point did anyone say that it was Brock Lesnar inside those text messages.
Josh.
It was Tito Ortiz or whatever his name was.
What?
The other guy, the other MMA fighter. What was his name?
Talking about Cain Velasquez.
That's it. Tito Ortiz, Cain Velasquez. Same guy. It was Cain Velasquez. That's who it was.
Oh, is that so?
It fits his persona. Didn't he murder someone? Isn't he in jail for murdering somebody right now?
Manslaughter.
Isn't he in jail for causing the death of another person?
I'm not sure if he's still in jail or not.
Yeah, well.
And just remember, if Mr. Velasquez, if you try to sue somebody for slander, that was Josh who said that, not me.
And also remember, I'm accusing Tito Ortiz of doing anything, not you, Mr. Velasquez.
All
right. Let's move on. It was Maxine Dupree and Ivy Nile versus Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae. Good that they're getting some screen time. So good for them. They're trying to start a feud that I just don't care about, which is fine. You know, I don't have to like or care about everything that's on the program. That's the thing about wrestling. There's something for everyone. It's not for me, but it might be for some. So what did you think of it?
I was actually surprised because typically, at least from the way I've always remembered stuff being booked leading into WrestleMania, they always will try to rush into something. Like they've been teasing this stuff between Candace and Indy for a while with, LeRae being I guess, would you say she's a full-blown heel now?
Man, I think so.
But they've been teasing that and that impending showdown with those two. But usually they try to rush it and have it on the pre-show of Mania or something like that. And so I fully thought it was going to come to blows between those two, and then them announce some pre-show match or something during WrestleMania or something along those lines. But I think I like the way they're doing it. You've got your WrestleMania feuds, but then you're already having in the pipeline some supporting feuds getting ready to culminate post-Mania. And I like how they're doing that because there's, even with 2 nights, there's not enough room for all these different things going on between the 2 shows for like 10, 11, 12 hours of television over 2 nights. So I do like how they're going ahead and getting those, or continuing to lay the groundwork for and furthering other feuds and other storylines that they can, have it like a backlash or, something culminated a backlash or something like that, or, stuff like, or going forward. And I'm glad that they seem, and then with Ricochet too, the way he's being booked, and I do like that. And so I think good.
I'm loving these made for NXT feuds. So when this is all over with and WrestleMania is over with, they can go back down there and have these feuds.
Oh man, but it was. I thought, again, the match I thought was fine. And I do like how they didn't do what I assumed they were going to do. They're going to rush this, and they're going to have something like come to a head at a 2-minute match on, like, in the first 2 minutes of the pre-show. And I'm glad they did it. I'm glad they're even these mid-card programs. I'm glad they're letting them, just run their course and giving them some extra time to culminate. I do like that.
Well, it's clear what Triple H is doing. He's making us invested in, or at least trying to make people invested in, the bottom of the card, the mid card, and the top of the card, which is something that Vince McMahon, towards his end of his tenure, chose not to do. If it wasn't Roman Reigns, then it didn't matter, is what his model was. Or if it wasn't Brock Lesnar, it didn't matter.
Let's be real. Besides the top, there's some mid-card stuff, but yeah, definitely
few and far between.
Yes.
It wasn't fleshed out. It was surface level, but there's no world where they're getting a storyline between Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae on Vince McMahon's watch. Not happening.
No, agree.
Not happening.
Agree.
Yeah. But you talked about building things, and you mentioned Ricochet, and he was on deck against Ivar, and they put on a match. I'm glad to see what they're doing with Ricochet because he is a talented hand, and now they are starting to utilize him more, and he's actually starting to win, which shocker, he's starting to build credibility, and the crowd is getting behind him again because he is winning, and he's actually getting reactions now, which there was a little bit of time. He always got some reaction, but now he's getting more legitimate reactions because he's actually a believable threat. And when you have people win and not lose every week, people will care. No one cares about Solo because Solo always loses. No one cared about Tamina or Natalia or all these people because they always lose. When when you do that, you kill a character's credibility, and it can always be repaired by just having them win. Wrestling fans have very short memories. If you book someone differently, we don't want to believe that they had just lost 40 times in a row. They could make Solo a powerhouse again if they wanted to.
Agreed.
Easily.
And I hope they do.
Yeah. But anyways, Ricochet's he is gaining some momentum and some steam going into WrestleMania, and I'm sure post WrestleMania they're going to have plans for him. I don't know what it's going to involve, but
I think I heard correctly. Is he? And if he is going to be in it, I think he's almost a lock to win the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal on Friday night, because I think he's in that.
Okay, I don't know if they've announced the full roster. I don't know who or the full participant list. I'm going to put my money on R-Truth if he's in it. If not, then I'm just kidding.
I was going to say no. I mean, because the fans would love it, but
I guess Awesome Truth is in the 6-pack ladder match, right?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Well, not R-Truth.
That's why I'm saying I don't think he is in it.
I'm going with Hornswoggle then. That is my guess for the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. Not sure who's going to win, but Swoggle is.
Oh man,
he'll be the only person representing the McMahon family at WrestleMania when he wins the Battle Royal.
Hey, I saw an old clip, parts of the Royal Rumble where it was Hornswoggle and Cena like doing a double 5-knuckle shuffle and some stuff on some guys in the middle of the ring, and it was amazing. The commentary was fantastic.
Yeah.
But hey, and I don't know if you caught, they're not shying away at all the Prince Puma references for Ricochet. They did it again this week.
And you know what else they did? Putting that aside for a second, when the Judgment Day was referencing Ricochet, they talked about what kind of name is Ricochet. It's stupid. Did you notice that?
I did not.
Yeah, when they had that backstage promo, they talked about what even is what does that even mean? What is a Ricochet? So they were belittling the Ricochet name in a segment, which I wasn't putting two and two together until you just said that they were mentioning Puma. So if they're mentioning Puma and they're degrading the Ricochet name, it's almost a lock that he comes back as Prince Puma at some point. When that is, I don't know. But
hey, here's a thought too. What do you think about ousting one prince and coronating another into the Judgment Day?
Interesting. So getting rid of Balor and putting him in there.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have enough personality. Well, I guess Balor doesn't have any personality either. Yeah, he could take that role. Yeah, he could definitely take that role.
Be interesting to see. I'm pumped about that whole Judgment Day thing this weekend.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to that.
Man, we're gonna lose 2 factions in one weekend. No more Bloodline. No more Judgment Day. Potentially no more Imperium. Maybe. You never know. Man, we'll talk about WrestleMania later, but it's going to be good. It's going to be good.
I'm excited, man. I haven't been for all these feuds going on that they've been, teases of different things happening within them over a long period of time. I'm excited to see if what happens with them. But
yeah. But speaking of Judgment Day, we got a Becky Lynch promo after Ricochet. I hated this, and I'm gonna tell you why I hated this.
Maybe the same reason that I did.
If I first of all see security guards one more time at a WrestleMania event, or at a WWE event, I'm gonna flip. I can't take it anymore because they use it so much now that if there aren't guards that are just awful at their job, just the worst. Like Rhea Ripley went through Adam Pearce and 7 security guards. She kicked one, and then like the other 6, she just ran through and got like no resistance. Like what are we doing here?
And how about the way she distracted Adam Pearce?
Well, she threw the title. What did she
Yes,
do?
yes,
Yeah, just threw the title at
yes.
him, and then
Pat McAfee roasted it. He was like, "Oh, come on!" He was. And is McAfee a heel announcer? Because there's several times where I think he is, but then he does
tweener.
baby stuff. Yeah,
He's a tweener.
he was
Let him do
talking
whatever he
about
wants.
Adam Pearce, like basically, like I think essentially like being worthless or something along those lines. And he's like, oh, he was doing his like freezing and drawing thing. He's like, oh, Pierce gets faked out by the title throw. I've never seen that one before. It was great.
And she didn't even throw it very hard either.
No, not at all.
Yeah. But they had that little segment where they showed Becky interrupting Rhea Ripley's interview with Ariel Helwani, and did you see that part? So Ripley was on, Ariel.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep. She was on his show, and it was just completely absurd. And Ariel goes, "Do you mind if I call Becky Lynch while you're here?" And she's like, "No, by all means, call her." And they call Becky Lynch, and she's on the phone, and she's like, "Oh, I just happen to be in New York, and I'm actually inside the building right now." She just appears, and then her and Ripley get into a tussle. And I'm like, what are we doing here? Like, this is just utterly ridiculous that you just did that. That she just happened to be feet away from them in the elevator coming up to attack Rhea Ripley. But anyways, I thought that was hilarious. And when Pierce told Dominic to control your mommy, that was that was funny. But it was a nice short segment. I mean, it was as long as it needed to be, so I'm glad they didn't draw anything out there. But it gets them on television, spotlighting their feud. So I have no issues with the segment other than just the absurdity of Rhea Ripley going through 7 grown men by herself with little to no resistance, unless you want to make the argument that they didn't want to hit a woman, which is a fine argument to make. But she kicked one of those dudes right in the solar plexus and just sent him flying. And then the other ones seemed like they were like, "Nah, I'm good. I don't need to get beat up today."
Yeah, and that's one of those things. It's it's a tried and true method. They always do it, and they're gonna as long as it gets any type of reaction, they're gonna keep going back to it. So I mean, yeah, it was the most disappointing thing to me about that whole thing and the show as a whole is that they were not seeking the medical officials for Dom at all this week. And I thought that was going to be a running gag for a while. And so I was very upset about that because that was good stuff.
Yeah, it was good. All right. So next was Tegan Knox, Shayna Baszler, and Zoe Stark versus Dakota Kai, Asuka, and Kairi Sane. So Damage Control versus Tegan, Shayna, and Zoe.
Didn't Io interfere to cost or to get Damage Control to win? Because I feel like Damage Control won. Yeah, Damage Control won.
They did win.
But was it with Io interference?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Yeah, and I don't know, man. I when I think of Shayna Baszler, I just think of the badass who ran through NXT, who um who choked every other competitor out at the Elimination Chamber, and then that's when the botching and the booking began at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I was about to say, well, guess what, Wade?
I
They
know.
messed that up
Oh no,
because
I know, but it's just
that's
one of
not the
those
Shayna
things.
Baszler that I know anymore. The one that I know is a joke. it's
And
sh-
they they should have um they should have her and Stark, um or even if they want to do her and Knox, but probably her and Stark. If they're not going to make them singles competitors, they should give them a lengthy run with the tag titles, because those are two. Any combination of Baszler and Knox Stark would be believable for out of anybody week to
yeah,
week. And but again, and I know it was interference in this, but I just didn't like that. It's like, okay, we know Damage Control is going to win this after getting handled at the end of SmackDown, and they're coming to another show. We all know they're going to win, but still, I don't like any combination involving Shayna Baszler losing in a format like that. I don't, but I knew it was going to
get
happen.
get used to it.
Yeah, unfortunately, but no, I thought it was a good match, and I am a big Dakota Kai fan, and I'm glad she's healthy. I hope she stays healthy. I just always worry whenever athletes are coming off of knee injuries and stuff like that. I just always wonder, like, oh man, is it going to happen again? How are they going to be the same afterwards? But I mean, especially the type of move set that she uses, and um, so yeah. Um, from a wrestling standpoint, I didn't have any issues with it. Like just watching a good match, but I didn't. Like I said, I don't like seeing Baszler lose.
Yeah, I
But
get that.
but
I get that. But now we get to the end, and the match between Solo and Seth freaking
I
Rollins.
hated this.
What did you hate about it?
I, it goes back to what we talked about earlier. It's nothing again. I love Seth Rollins. I love Seth Rollins, but I hate the. You can't have somebody squash John Cena and then continually get their ass kicked. I don't care if it's in a bloodline rules match, which, by the way, okay, let's talk about suspending disbelief or whatever. It's a bloodline rules match, and you let Solo get his ass kicked for that long before you come out. Where the hell was the bloodline in a bloodline rules match?
Well, you need to understand that the rule is that no one cares about Solo. So
Well,
that's
yeah,
that's what bloodline rules means.
until Solo was put through a table, and then they ran out, which they said Solo lost, but no, he didn't. I guess it was a no
Nobody lost.
contest.
Yeah, there was.
Which
It wasn't a tables match.
no, which I was waiting. I was like, okay, they're gonna put Solo. They're gonna let Solo get up and pin Seth Rollins, and that never happened. Nobody won the match, and
Just kind of ended.
and but but of course, as everybody knew was going to happen, Cody came out, which I thought was great, dude. I'm a I'm a nerd, and so I was like, oh yeah, here he
It's
comes.
not Cody Rhodes. That's Mama Rhodes' baby boy.
Oh yeah, yes, that is true. But seeing the interaction, the little taste of Rollins interacting with Rock and Roman again, and then Rhodes coming out and interacting with Rock and uh, Roman. I did like that part of it, but again, I'm never going to like it being at the expense of a guy they had squash John Cena. I
Something that he
do
hasn't won
not
in
like that.
4 months. You might not like it, but it's over. His mystique is over. He's going to lose. It's going to be at his expense.
I don't
He's
care.
a jobber at
I
this
don't
point.
care. I don't like it. I know Gunther's going to lose. I don't like that either. But I'm
yeah,
going
but at
to
least
keep.
Gunther's not a jobber.
I'm going to
Solo's a
keep.
jobber.
Well, I'm going to keep talking about it because it makes me feel better.
He is a disgrace to his family. I'm sure at Thanksgiving and Christmas meals, they're telling him how much they hate him because he can't win. He's supposed to be an enforcer who hasn't enforced anything. Only thing he enforces is that losing is okay. Apparently, that's all that he's done in the past since November when he beat John Cena at Crown Jewel. He's not to the point of no repair, but
No,
they'll repair him. They will repair him. He's going to have a feud. For all we know, maybe they didn't come out, and that is going to be a part of the feud. Because I think that Solo is going to be a big part of the WrestleMania aftermath. And maybe there's going to be some sort of promo that says, I've helped you all this time, and when I was out there getting my ass kicked by Seth, you all just stayed back there until I went through a table. Maybe something like that happens. Probably not, but maybe. You never know. You never know. But I do think that Solo is going to play a big role in the next or the aftermath of all of this once the bloodline completely disbands. He'll get his wins again. He'll start a feud with, I don't know, with somebody. Maybe the Kabuki Warriors. I don't know. He'll start a feud with somebody. And
oh man,
some intergender handicap matches. Solo versus the Kabuki Warriors.
Hey, don't you go Bill Goldberg and start throwing Asuka now.
Well, no, I'm an Asuka fan.
Me too. Fan. Don't. Again, there's so many wrestlers that we could get started on how they were properly booked and now they're not. But
yeah, a lot. Overall, I thought that it was a good Raw. It's what you would expect a go home Raw to be, with how they handled, I guess, the last confrontations between some of the wrestlers and some of the groups and some of the factions. So
great crowd too. Always is in New York.
It was a good crowd. I mean, you're gonna get it. If you're not getting a good crowd with this much hype, then you as a crowd need to look at yourself in the mirror and wonder, and you're the problem.
And we experienced the Barclays crowd.
Yeah. Is that where they were?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. I hope they all enjoyed their $16 beers like we did. Hell, now it's probably like $24.
That was in 2019. That was half. We went to WrestleMania half a decade ago. Those they probably had the choice of buying a beer or a car. Those are the.
Hey, when they. I can't remember if when you asked how much they cost, they said 16. I think you asked them for 2. Like, no. Oh man.
No, that's just one. That's just one. And that's when I took on sobriety.
Yes. Yes. Did you?
All right.
What did you think of the last segment, though?
I mean, it's what I expected it to be. I was kind of hoping Cody didn't come out, only because
you knew.
I knew he was coming out, but I was hoping that he didn't, for the sole reason of that they played up that beating on so many different platforms for so long, on Instagram, on Twitter, on TikTok, on Raw itself, and vignettes, and everywhere, on the leaked footage after the camera went off that nobody was supposed to see. So, dude, I think I sent you that. And then for him to be fine.
Well, and here,
no limp.
Well, here's the problem.
I can't get like a hobble out to the ring. Give me like a hobble or something.
He had a Band-Aid on his head, Josh.
He did have a Band-Aid.
And I think that's the problem, with they say kayfabe is completely dead and all that, and you don't have people protecting the characters anymore because, and especially, and in fairness, especially a guy like Cody Rhodes, who probably, if not later that night, the next morning was probably out doing public appearances, like with, like, whether it be Make a Wish or doing some sort of appearance or something. And, anything like that this day and age is going to be all over social media with him smiling and, as Roman Reigns would call it, be out there politicking and and doing all that. So I mean, just and again, in this day and age, and with social media and everything, I mean it. I can understand why they had him come back out. Now, if this would have been, in the '90s, yes, I think they could have believably gotten away with him not showing up and selling the beating he took. But this day and age, you go, oh yeah, well, like, yeah, that makes sense. I saw him the night after that beating on television on a news broadcast or something. So
Yeah, I mean, at least have him come out without a shirt on, with some chest bandages or something. Let me get a little bit more than this one tiny little Band-Aid right
yeah.
here. I need a little bit more than that.
I think
'Cause
Mama Rhodes should have pushed him out in a wheelchair.
I agree.
But
I agree.
I did love The Rock taking off the Cody belt and whipping him with it. That was good.
Dude, those
Oh,
those lashings they're hitting them hard with that belt.
hey, I will say this though, because he hit Seth with it multiple times and Cody. But dude, I've seen some of those where they hit him with that belt and there's immediately welts popping up. So I'm guessing that was not a real leather strap.
Weren't they wearing a shirt? I thought they were wearing shirts.
I thought they ripped.
Oh
No,
yeah.
I
They
don't.
did. They put him against. Well, they were. They put him against the ropes, and they ripped off Cody's shirt.
I don't think
And then they
Seth
start whipping him.
was. I don't know if Seth was in his match.
He was wearing one of Becky's shirts.
No, because I remember thinking, "Oh, that's going to start turning red rather quickly." And then
But it still made the noise though.
I
How
mean,
do you fake that noise?
dude, they've been making noises like that when they do super kicks for years. I mean, I'm sure they have.
That's different. It's a different noise. It sounded well. Regardless, it looked real to me. Damn it! So that's all that matters.
Oh, and by the way, did Roman come out from under the ring? Because I thought he just came from the back, but they said he was under the ring.
He didn't come from the back. I don't know where he came from.
Okay,
If you're telling me that he came from under the ring, I believe that.
I think that's what Cole or somebody said he came out from. I was like, what?
He just kind of spawned out of nowhere.
Okay.
I thought he was gone. Oh my gosh, he didn't leave.
He fooled us all.
You're telling me that there was not one person who couldn't have verified that Roman Reigns had left? I mean, there's only one way out, but okay. That was the last Raw, though. Probably the last that we see. Well, we'll see Seth. We'll see Drew. We'll see
Cody.
You think we see Cody?
What, Monday Night Raw next week?
No. SmackDown.
Oh. I'm sorry. Got ahead of myself there. If Roman Reigns is there, yes.
Well, okay. Do you think we'll see Roman?
You have to.
You don't have to.
I think you do.
They will, but you don't have to.
Yeah, no, hold on. Yes, 100%. 100%.
Was he advertised?
No, but the Hall of Fame is immediately following SmackDown at the same location.
Oh, yeah. And I guess if he's doing the speech, he will be there.
So all of them will be there.
Yeah, okay.
So
right.
I would say yes.
All right, I'm buying it. I'm buying
So,
it. But all in all, good go home Raw. Excited to see SmackDown. Even more excited for WrestleMania.
oh yeah,
Uh, but we also have a go home NXT before Stand in the Litter that started off with a number one contender match with the OC, LWO, and Frazier and Axiom. And boy, just seeing Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows out there, they just look so much older than the other guys that they're in the ring with. And
they're still
uh,
good though.
they are still good. I'm not taking anything away from them. It's just that
I know what
they're,
you mean.
they're fighting against children, and uh,
I was
they
shocked
des-
by this result, by the way.
they deserve better. I think Luke, and I'm just surprised that they agreed to this when they came back
I'm
because
not.
well, you think they're just desperate to be in the company? I mean,
There's obviously some reason they came back because
are they
they
broke?
they knew th- they knew they had to know how they were going to be presented, and I think at this point, because I think AJ Styles himself has said, um, he wants to elevate newer talent at this stage in his career, and so I could definitely see a veteran tag team. Yeah, they went to other companies, and I'm pretty sure in uh, TNA or another organization not that long ago, I believe they held belts.
Yeah, which is why I don't know why you would come here to not. You talk about elevating. They never got elevated themselves. They never had a proper push with WWE. They were wasted in their first run. They're being wasted in this run. That's fine. Help younger talent, but get yours first. AJ Styles has gotten his. He's had gold around his waist. He can elevate talent because he's done everything. He's won every title. Uh, they haven't, and they're too good of a tag team. They're too good of workers to. There's not enough depth in the tag team division uh, in the WWE for them not to be able to play a role. I mean, with the void of uh, like the Usos being gone or not gone, because I'm sure they'll be back after Sunday, but with them not being a tag team, with Big E being out, I mean, there's room for them on the main roster rather than having to slum it in NXT. But I mean, and I get that they don't have to be champions. I'm not asking for them to be champions, but there's screen time for them to be had. You can build off of the tag team division with them playing a role in it. And I guess WWE disagrees, or maybe that is why they brought them back to help elevate younger talent, which is fine. That's fine, but I just feel like they deserve better than being on NXT. That's just my 2 cents.
I'm just wondering if something happened.
Because didn't they
And
come out hot and they helped? They were in the Boneyard match, right?
yes.
Yeah. So they came out hot when they came back.
Well, no. Boneyard Matt. No, they were cut after that. They left
After that,
after that,
okay.
and then
So that was their first run.
yes.
I thought they'd been back for a long time. I
And
guess
I
so.
don't.
What?
No, at least I don't believe so.
I think you're right because
Um,
that still was 4 years ago. So yeah, you're probably right.
Now I don't. I don't know. Something had to happen, man, because they've been having these teased interactions with them and Corbin and Braun for a while. And it was almost like a foregone conclusion. It was going to be those two teams at Stand and Deliver. And I mean, just the number of interactions, it's just like, was that just to throw everybody off? Because I'm pretty sure it was um, Fraser and Axiom that lost to um, Breaker and Corbin in the Dusty Classic, I believe. So this will be a rematch of that, and you got to think that Axiom and Fraser are gonna win, and Braun and Corbin are going back to SmackDown.
You would think, because there's nothing left for Braun to accomplish.
No.
I'd argue there was never anything for Corbin to accomplish. So, I mean, I think that they have to. That makes no sense for them to be. I'm mad they're still there. The only acceptable reason for them to still be there is that they need some type of cachet at the Raw to WrestleMania. But I think that by having brought up Braun before, that kind of ruins a debut from him, because he's already debuted. And all those fans that watch Raw and watch SmackDown and don't watch NXT, they've already been introduced to him. So it's going to be tough to give him a proper introduction again. Now, I guess he hasn't had his debut against a real opponent. He still needs to have that because he just had, I think, matches against jobbers.
I'm wondering if when they, and I wouldn't agree with this, I think they need to immediately, or they need to keep having him compete as a singles competitor. But with the OC being on SmackDown as well, I'm just wondering if the SmackDown after Mania, if they bring in Corbin and Breakker as a tag team, their first feud is with the Good Brothers, and then Braun turns on Corbin or vice versa, and then that's Braun's first singles feud.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, that they go against each other first. And you know that Baron's a reliable hand. He can fight against big guys, small guys, fast guys, slow guys, and have a good match. So I think that would be a very good dance partner for Braun for his first legitimate feud. But also at the same time, can you really just bring two guys up and then just start a feud with them after a week or two?
No. I think
we got to get the fans to reinvest in Baron Corbin. I think.
No, I think they'll do a little bit of a build and then have the tag match against the Good Brothers, like at a Backlash or something like that, and then they'll have the breakup, and maybe at Money in the Bank, if Braun's not in that match itself, the ladder match, have him versus Corbin which, I think that would have enough time, and for those two, I think that'd be an appropriate place to have a blow off match. Would be at Money in the Bank.
Could you imagine Braun with that briefcase sprinting down to the ring and just hitting somebody with the most vicious spear they've ever seen?
Yes, but guys like that, they don't need the briefcase.
No, they don't.
But I mean, they wouldn't be the first time they've given it to somebody that doesn't need it or it doesn't fit their character. But we'll see. But
yeah. So
good match. It was a good match.
Pay-per-view, yeah. Frazier and Axiom picked up the win.
It's a good match.
So they are now the number one contenders against the Lone Wolves. Wait,
I think it's the
Wolf Dogs.
The Wolf Come on,
Dogs.
Josh. Jeez, and Pete.
The Up Dogs. What's up, dog?
Oh gosh, no.
Nothing much was up with you.
Oh my god, and our viewership is not getting any higher with that one, with our 18 to 25 crowd.
We just got our 1,000th viewer because of that dad joke. All right, so then moving on to Fallon Henley versus JC Jane. And Jane picked up the win. I actually thought that this was wasn't a great match. It wasn't. It's not going to win a Dave Meltzer 5-star of the year match, but it was a good showcase of talented, two talented women who I didn't really know anything about or had ever seen before.
Yeah, they're both good.
Yeah, they were both good. I enjoyed the match. I don't have much backstory about this, but I'm going to start getting backstory as I continue to watch NXT on a consistent basis. It's like I'm watching a new TV show, learning new characters, and trying to figure out plot lines, having not started at season 1. I started in episode 7 of season 6. So I'm getting there. But I enjoy these two.
I have not had a chance to watch. I've seen clips of what happened, but I haven't seen the full thing. But I did read where this eventually was made into a official
Stand and deliver.
Yeah, stand and deliver a 6-woman tag match with I know it's JC Jane and I can't remember who her two partners are, but versus Henley, Thea Hale, and I can't remember who the other partner is, but I was actually go ahead. Yeah, let's read off the proper
names. I think
names.
It was Kiana James and Izzy Dame attacked Thea Hall and Kalani Jordan, and Henley tried to save them. So some combination of those people.
Okay. I was actually surprised that this was I thought they were going to have a singles match with Thea Hale versus JC Jane. And I was actually looking forward to that match. I thought that would have been a very good singles match, but I guess with the way it's been presented with, their respective partners helping the others out in the weeks leading up to this, I guess from that angle it makes sense and gets more wrestlers on the card. But I was hoping for a standalone match myself.
Yeah.
But I'm sure this one will be good. And I believe there's only 6 matches on the stand and deliver card. So
we got to do our stand and deliver prediction, and I'm probably going to leave all of that up to you.
Okay.
Everything I'm going to predict is going to be based off of whose gear I like the best, because I don't know enough about this to make any type of prediction.
Now, what I can't, and I should know this, but I get confused between the regular PLEs and the NXT shows. Are the NXT ones typically 2 hours?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I know the weekly show is, but are there PLEs
I believe they are
too? Okay. But still, with only 6 matches, that'll give them all plenty of time. But that show has been built on, more wrestling essentially. I mean, you got to have your talking segments and all that, but I mean, 6 matches, they should all be good. What was next?
Next was a match between Lexus King and Von Wagner.
This has to stop.
Yeah, that was garbage. I'm not going to devote too much time to it, but
Lexus King's entrance is awesome. I want a moving throne.
50-50 booking is stupid. It makes both people lose credibility. It's not gonna stop until this. We need to get some jobbers in NXT. That's what you need, so you don't have to have 50-50 booking.
But if I saw the card correctly, unless this is I don't even think this is going to be on a pre-show, unless they add another match to it. So, but this has been going on way too long for it not to be done, or else have some blow off to it on a pre-show here. This does not need to carry on into past Stand and Deliver. Excuse me.
Yeah.
But I mean, unless they add it in the next couple of days, it's going to. But
Yeah.
we'll see what happens though. I believe King got the win.
Yeah.
And
by pinfall.
Yeah, because I think part of it with this is King implying that Wagner can't win without Mr. Stone nearby and all that stuff. So we'll see, but I this needs to end.
Yeah,
they both need to move
agree.
on from this.
I agree, but that needs to end, and so does us talking about that match. That needs to end too. Next was Lola Vice versus Carmen Petrovich with Natty Neidhart, aka Natalia.
I loved how this ended.
Did you?
Oh yeah, I what a great heel move. Using Natty's sharpshooter against Natty's protege and making Natty's protege tap out. I thought it was great. I love it. I love it. Love it.
I don't know who any of these people are.
I like Lola Vice.
That's the one thing I'll say, but I'll start to learn them. I'll start to learn who Lola Vice is and Drazen Petrovich, whatever that person's name is. I'll learn to like them. But yeah, Natalia is one of the few people who probably deserves to be in NXT. Let her get some airtime. She does not need to be anywhere near a camera on WWE programming at this stage in her career. Because I say they can almost rebuild anybody. They wouldn't be able to rebuild Natalia to make her any type of credible threat. I don't care how many times the announcers tell me that, oh, it's Natalia, she may win. No, she's not going to win. But let's just move on to the next match. Lyra Valkyria delivers a physical statement to Roxanne Perez. So, did you have an opportunity to see this? I'm trying to figure out where you came into the scene.
I did. Roxanne, there in the segment, got the first shot in, but then Lyra dropped her with a kick and then beat her down from there and got the upper hand, which, like we've discussed before, when somebody comes out on top definitively in one of these segments, they tend to lose. But especially seeing how Perez's first title run had to end due to injury, and she's back now. She's healthy. She's only 22 years old, and from what it sounds like, everybody in the company is extremely high on her. They need to give her a proper title reign, unless, of course, they're so impressed that they go ahead and move her up. But I personally think it is a little too crowded right now on both Raw and SmackDown, and there's too many other stories and pending feuds that need to be had and continue and get some resolution. That I hope they keep Roxanne Perez there in NXT, but give her a proper title run, and I think she'd have a good one in this heel character she's got. So we'll see.
I agree that the roster is stacked on Raw and SmackDown, and it's not even full because you're missing people like Charlotte Flair, who's just going to
she's
add another layer to things.
She's supposed to be back by SummerSlam, right?
She's been working hard. Been watching a lot of videos of her lifting weights, getting that knee strong. Looks like she's walking on it with a limp, but she's getting there.
I mean, is that feasible? SummerSlam, August?
I would think so. I mean, 9 months is feasible, and I think she got hurt in 2023, so which means that it'd be more than 9 months. But yeah, I think it's definitely realistic. Question is, can she get ready? SummerSlam? I'm thinking Survivor Series. So that's July.
SummerSlam's August, I think.
August? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think she can get back by then. We'll see. She's working hard, and she is an athlete, physical specimen. She's a weight room warrior. She's going to put in the work. She's got Andrade pushing her. So she's got everything there that's going to lead to success and getting her back sooner rather than later. I'm not concerned. There are some wrestlers who I'm concerned they got hurt. They lollygag. She's not one of them. She's a motivated person, so she'll be fine. She'll be there. She'll be at SummerSlam. Heck, she might be at Raw.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Pull an Adrian Peterson and come back in like 4 months. So we'll see. But next up was Obafemi versus Joe Gacy. And Sean Spears blasted Gacy with a steel chair during his entrance. Just another thing in the long line of I don't care about Sean Spears moments. But hit him with the chair during the entrance. In the end, Obafemi ended up defeating Gacy by referee stoppage. One of your favorite ways to win. Referee stoppage.
And
stupid way to win.
And from
a harmful way to win.
From what I read, it made me think. Now, I didn't see this. I saw clips of the opening segment when Spears blasting him with the chair.
Mm-hmm.
But made it seem like there was curiosity, like, okay, was there a reason there was a referee stoppage? Like, did Gacy get legitimately hurt? But then they announced for the pre-show it's going to be Gacy versus Spears.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know, dude. You do all these vignettes and do all this stuff, and you're going to have them come back on a pre-show. But I guess it's better than not being on the show at all. So
yeah, that's true.
So
that's true.
Those two, I think that'll be a good match. I really do. So
you need to get airtime whenever you can.
Yeah.
But
obviously,
moving
the right
on,
person won. So
to a long list of people who I don't know, Ariana Grace versus Ren Sinclair.
Okay.
They were brawling in the beginning.
Dude, I love the way Grace sells, and it's so over the top. Her facial expressions are golden, and
a Dolph Ziggler protege.
Oh man! And now I saw where Grace won, and they were specifically citing her facial expressions. But I remember in the match with Gigi Dolan that she was so over the top with her expression, and I think it's amazing. But I think it fits that like beauty pageant character with the over the top and just and everything. And I think that's obviously by design. But I do like how
it's definitely by design.
Oh yeah. I'm waiting for the big reveal because she's given Gigi Dolan like this makeover and turning her into a lady, and so I'm waiting to see what the end result of that is, and I'm guessing they may do the big reveal there in Stand and Deliver. So,
speaking of a lady, whatever happened to Lacey Evans? Where'd she go? She get released? She's gone one day.
No, I believe she is gone from the company again. I think.
Oh, okay.
Now, and she may be in AEW, but don't quote me on that. But I'm pretty sure she is no longer with WWE. And another,
I'll check it out later.
And another on the long list of botching characters. And anyways, but okay.
Worst finishing move ever.
Wait, what was it called? The
woman's right.
There we go.
The worst.
She does throw a hell of a punch, though.
Okay.
I thought so.
It's still a terrible finisher.
Okay, I'm not saying for a finisher. I mean, yes, it's not like it's the Big Show with that can of ham hitting you, but still.
Yeah. All right. So next was Blair Davenport and Sol Ruka.
Sol Ruka's an athlete. Holy cow.
Yes, she is.
You see that?
She definitely stood out to me.
Cartwheel she did on the ropes.
Mm-hmm.
That was impressive.
Yeah. She is. What's her background? She looks like she's like a surfer.
No,
What's her background?
I mean, I think she. I mean, I know she does surf, but I think that is her background. I think she was a certain. I don't know if she was a professional surfer, but I know that's the whole character is that she's a surfer and all that. But I can't remember exactly what she did. But yeah, she definitely surfs.
Yeah, she looks the part.
Yeah, she is they're definitely building her to have a title reign at some point, and if she stays healthy, because she's coming back off an injury, I believe.
Yeah, apparently her dad is black. She's half black.
Hmm?
Through her father, Hampton, is of African American descent. A Wikipedia page does not say what her background is, though, so I don't. I think that she was one of those next in line people, though. Experienced in aerobic gymnastics. She came from an acrobatics and tumbling background. She's definitely not a surfer.
They've definitely shown videos of her surfing.
I mean, I'm sure they
and not
probably
just
have.
standing on a surfboard either. Like, yeah, like not like fake, like Mr. Ed on the surfboard, like real surfing.
Yeah, well, I'm about to update her Wikipedia page to make her a surfer now because I don't want anyone else looking and not finding that information.
But dude, if she can stay healthy, yeah, man, I think she did win the match, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. By pinfall.
Yeah. And it was a pretty well received match, wasn't it? Wasn't it pretty good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, she's just super athletic. And that's in that vein, she reminds me a little bit of Tiffany Stratton, and just the athleticism just oozes out of them. You could tell. If you're telling me that Sol Ruka has a gymnastics background, I can tell she has a gymnastics background. Same with Tiffany Stratton. I can tell that she has some sort of gymnastics background, and that is a great background to have when you want to do something like this.
Oh, yeah.
If you can learn wrestling and have a gymnastics background, then you can wow the crowd, and that's why they're there. They're there to be wowed, see something they've never seen before. But now the main event. The main event. Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes exchange their final words before Stand and Deliver. As I indicated to you, I watched the entirety of the program, but what I did not watch was this last segment. Why? I don't know, because I absolutely could have. I think I just paused it and then forgot what I was doing. So I'm relying on you to tell me about the last segment.
I did see the clip. It was a pull apart brawl with your favorite, with security.
How many?
Well,
as LeBron would say, not one, not two, not three.
Yeah, well,
not four.
I mean, it was done in a way where nobody had like the clear upper hand, but then they had the old school locker room spill out to help break them apart.
Oh, okay. So they involved everybody.
Yep.
Okay.
And did you see the Dragunov in the Don segment?
No.
Okay, so do you remember? Do you remember Dragunov got the invite to the?
Yeah.
Okay, so Dragunov goes out to his car, I guess, to go to said meeting, and there's a parking boot on his car.
No.
And
what bad luck for him.
Oh yeah, but then the car, like I don't know if it was a Suburban or a limo, pulls up. It's like, oh, forgot to pay those parking tickets, huh? Like yeah, hop in. Like nah, I'll find a way. And they're like, Ilya, get in the car. You don't want to keep the Don waiting. and so they go and they take him to this building. And they're walking through, and they show like these mafioso type, like using using a saw cutting through like sheetrock or whatever, like trying to be intimidating, and then some guy with like a crowbar and walking him back, and they sit him down at a table, and they've got like the whole family in the backdrop, and then Tony comes up and he's like, "Hey, I heard you had some car trouble." He's like, "Ah, don't worry, I took care of that for you." And then and Dragunov is talking about, well, I did my research on this place, and the type of meaning it has, and that's a little scary or something like that. And then but he was selling the hand injury I was talking about from last week, like he had it all taped up. And
Good.
Oh yeah, and
That's what you're supposed to do.
And I thought this was a good segment, and he was like, a lot of bad things have happened here. He's like, but this is going to be one of those things. I want to do that to you in public. He's like, I just wanted to take you here to let you know that this is going to be your last meal as NXT champion. And of course, it was a little corny, but that's part of the whole shtick. And I'm just kind of curious about Dragunov walking around everywhere with the title, but because he had the belt with him and propped it up on the table. I mean, I know it's for effect and everything, but it was.
He's trying to sell the importance of the title, Wade.
But
if you have it around you 24/7, then that means it's important.
But I just always think about the Undertaker in that interview with Stone Cold talking about like the running gag of tricking the guy into wearing the belt at the airport. and so I just think of it in terms of that. But what I did like is when they were sitting there talking, going back and forth, the Don quickly reached out and got hold of Dragunov's hurt hand and started squeezing, and like Dragunov was selling the pain. He's like, "You know what I could do to you here? I could have it all be over, like with all the family here. Like I could end this now." But and that's when he said, "I'm gonna wait until Saturday in front of the world or whatever." But it was good, selling the hand injury, and I'm sure that's going to come into play with the flow of the match, and either Dragunov having the babyface comeback or it leading to him losing. So
yeah.
So, but no, I was entertained by the segment, but it was good. So
yeah, okay.
But
I think that,
and I'm looking forward to all the matches on the card. So,
and that's what's important, that you're looking forward and that you have a reason to want to watch Stand and Deliver, because my reason is so we can talk about it on a podcast, not that I actually want to see it. Just kidding. I am doing my best to get into this, and there are some things I'm starting to like, some things I still don't, but all in all, I don't think NXT is as good as it was 7 years ago, but still a solid program. And that is it for episode 7 of Mama Rose's Golden Squeeze podcast. And we are so close to WrestleMania. If you liked the podcast, go ahead and hit that bell icon and subscribe to the channel, and we will see you in the weekend at the Golden Squeeze podcast.